Since the beginning of time, humans have desired to communicate. From the cave paintings of Lascaux to the designs of Banksy and LaForce, the evolution of visual literacy has emerged. Early human markings, called petroglyphs, consisted of carved and painted figures, animals, and signs represented spoken language. Around 3100 BC, Sumerians settled in Mesopotamia and began drawing petroglyphs in clay tablets, which represented abstract ideas. These symbols, called cuneiform, were combined to form words and phrases. The Egyptians also had their own version of writing, hieroglyphics, as well as they developed papyrus for writing on. Using papyrus, the Egyptians combined words and pictures to produce illustrated manuscripts. As time went on, cuneiforms and hieroglyphics evolved into alphabets. These alphabets varied slightly between cultures. The Latin and Greek alphabets were combined to create the alphabet we use today. Substrates for writing also evolved from papyrus to parchment made from animal skins. Calligraphy and other lettering styles began developing, which led into typography. Woodblock printing became popular in Asia, in which designs were carved out of wood and then printed onto paper. Playing cards were some of the earliest prints and eventually evolved into block books. Johann Gutenberg revolutionized bookmaking by creating the printing press. Copperplate engraving began, allowing all people to buy art. The Renaissance brought about early logo designs, illuminated letters, and new typefaces. Many fonts that were created during this time are still used today. Renaissance designers liked floral decoration, which is seen in many forms of art, including prints. During the Industrial Revolution, graphic communications became widely available with new technologies. Friedrich Koenig designed a steam-powered press, which allowed high-speed printing. Artists Walter Crane and Randolph Caldecott developed toy books for children. Magazines and periodicals were created to inform the people, and photography was invented as a new communications tool. George Eastman created the Kodak camera in 1888, allowing the public to document their lives. The arts and crafts movement began as a reaction to the Industrial Revolution. The Century Guild emerged, among other societies and guilds, consisting of artists and designers. They created the Hobby Horse, which was the first printed magazine devoted solely to the visual arts. Books became an art form. The Guild created the bridge between the arts and crafts movement and Art Nouveau. Art Nouveau was an international decorative style that was in all aspects of designer arts. Art Nouveau forms and lines were invented rather than copied from nature. Artists such as Cheret, Grasset, Beardsley, and Toulouse-Lautrec became popular during this time. As the 20th century began, artists searched for new ways to express themselves. Artists like Wright, MacDonald, McIntosh, Hoffman, and Behrens, among others, developed new styles and influences for today's designers. Decorative, product, book, and poster design, as well as trademarks, architecture, and font design, exploded with creative revolutions that altered the role of art and design in society. Visual communication was influenced further by Cubism, Dada and Surrealism, Distill, Constructivism, and Expressionism movements. Ideas about color, form, space, and subject all focused around social protest and deeply personal emotional states. Posters became important to communication as World War I progressed, and the government used them for visual persuasion and propaganda. Art Deco posters were elegant and sophisticated, while constructivist posters were more geometric with strong typography. The Distill movement started in the Netherlands and reduced the elements of book design to the primary colors and straight lines. Ideas from various art and design movements were combined and applied to the problems of functionality and machine production at a German design school called the Bauhaus. Many modern type fonts were produced at the Bauhaus. With the popularity of the modern art movement in America, magazine design flourished. Bazaar, View, and Vogue were inspirations for other magazines in the U.S. Advertisements for everything from food to furniture led the country into the age of information. A series of new fonts were developed, including Universe, Arial, and Helvetica. Many European designers immigrated to the U.S. to escape their political climate and became major influences in American design. New York became the center of the movement in the 1940s. Emphasis was placed on the expression of ideas and presentation of information. Artists like Rand and Bass designed many well-known company logos such as UPS, IBM, Girl Scouts, and United Way to help relate to diverse audiences. The MTV logo was designed, redefining visual identity in the digital age. A new conceptual approach to illustration dawned as Glasser, Chwast, Sorel, and Ruffins founded Pushpin Studios in 1954. Together they created the Pushpin Almanac, a newsletter for graphic designers that united illustration with typography and design. Poster design became popular in the 1960s and 70s, highlighting everything from social activism to hippie life. During the 1980s and 90s, the development of electronic and computer technology began to change the processes and appearance of design. Postmodern design expressed a climate of cultural change, and artists began to explore the range of design possibilities. New Wave typography, the Memphis Group, retro design, the electronic revolution, supermannerism, and supergraphics all formed out of postmodernism. Designers began using bold geometric shapes of bright color, varied scale and typeset at unusual angles, focusing on historical revival and technical expression. The digital revolution changed visual communication even further. Digital technology and advanced software expanded the creative potential of graphic design. Apple Computer developed the Macintosh computer, Adobe Systems invented the PostScript program, and Aldus created PageMaker. Digital type took place of calligraphers and hand letterers. Digital imaging replaced film cameras, and computer communications took a huge leap forward with the development of the Internet. The graphic design community is now involved in media graphics, systems design, and computer graphics. The need for clear and imaginative visual communications has never been greater. Graphic designers have a responsibility to adapt new technology and continue inventing new ways of expressing ideas.